Are we live?
I
We are
think we're live.
live. Okay, so we're early, and
We
and
are.
for those joining us early, it doesn't look this very ready. Um, I want to preface all of this in that my morning routine for probably the last 4 years ish has been to
hmm
open Perplexity, read the news, and then go about my day.
Hmm.
And I don't know what they've done recently. And I'm a free user, I should say. I'm not
Okay.
paying. I'm just using their iOS app. And I found actually they did a really good job of bubbling up what news I would need to know because, like, typically if I wake up at 6 a.m. here, it's 9 a.m. in New York, and things have already happened. The world's already awake. Maybe some stuff happened overnight. I'm not sure, but
Right.
things have happened, and I'm about to start my day. I'll probably run right into meetings where people might bring things up, and I'm barely awake. So Perplexity's been my like lifesaver basically. Let me know
hmm
what's going on so I can figure things out. And I guess I've been reading the headlines and not really digging into the articles. But a couple, I try to stay out of the politics area, but a couple of news items came my way that were summarized, and I read them and thought, I
Hmm.
don't think this is right. So
Right.
you can interact with the news items and ask Perplexity, hey, where did you get this stuff? And it will show you all this research. And I read some of it and said, like, hey, based on this research, it seems like you misquoted the person in this article. And of course, yeah, of course, King, you're definitely right. Like, I made a mistake, like that kind of thing. But whatever.
yeah.
It's not that hard to if you know the news, if you heard it from a different source, you'll
Right.
probably know. Especially when it comes to quotes, there can be nuance and
Right.
maybe translation if it's from another country, what have you. Scrolling a little bit, and then some Canadian news came up. I'm like, oh, I kind of know a little bit about Canadian news too. Let's see. Another misquote of our prime minister, for example.
Mm.
Wow, what's going on here? It's just like it's summarizing, but it's summarizing summaries, I think, is the actual
Yeah.
issue. So when you ask the model about the news, it will give you the right answer. The problem happens when it boils all the way up to the headline, and
hmm
that's where I kind of take offense. And I noticed actually, so this was yesterday, there were four of them that were pretty off.
Oh wow.
One of them was about Taiwan Semiconductor coming to the US. Another one was about OpenAI's promises. I think the other was about the Japanese economy, which Perplexity said is definitely like the exchange rate's going down. So I was like, oh, it's time to book a flight. Like, this is fantastic. Thinking, I thought the economy was getting better as a result of some recent news.
right.
And sure enough, it was. The yen was climbing quite a bit yesterday. Anyway, I finally uninstalled Perplexity, and then I thought, well, shoot, what am I going to do in the morning? How am I going to
right.
like find the news? How am I going to search the web, et cetera, et cetera? So I started thinking a little bit about what we talked about last week at the end of the show. So
hmm
I'm going to bury the lead here a bit and say we talked about OpenClaw last week at
hmm
the end of the show. I'm still on the fence. I have used it. I do use it. I don't use any of the skills. I don't use the marketplace. I don't use Moltbook. But what I was thinking about was I think a problem that we've talked about a lot, if we're going to make our own RSS news engine or if we're going to scrape our own news, and I think you've talked about Obsidian a lot, and I was on the fence for a while, but I think I'm finally there now.
yep.
Unfortunately, it all comes full circle. So for those of you who listen to the podcast that aren't me, I'm hoping you're taking Matt's advice when he gives it to me. But I think you're probably realizing that it generally takes me about a year to listen to Matt. So here we are. We're at the I'm thinking about paying for Olama
hmm
specifically because it's pretty cheap actually
Yeah.
for what I'm going to use it for. It's pretty cheap. Now the unlimited, quote unquote, unlimited plans from like the max plans from the Claude and the OpenAI are not unlimited. The problems I was talking about last week in Codex the app, not Codex CLI, have only gotten worse. I can't
hmm
mention MCP sequential thinking without
hmm
getting like a TOS problem, which is
Right.
not great, or saying continue or pick all three options. Like all of it's getting worse
Yeah.
actually. And maybe it's just my account that's flagged, but it's the app has become unusable. And I
hmm
was using that to pull up news as well prior to podcast because it's pretty good at web research. So now I'm back at square one. And I've launched something called I want to say searching, but I think a lot of people say Seer XNG, but I think it's search and then
I think it's
NG is
search
like next
ng
yeah,
because
next
there was
generation.
originally search without the ng.
Right.
And yeah, because X is
It's got to be
Chi,
search.
and so it was search, sort of.
Yeah.
There's no good name,
Right.
but yeah, I think it's search ng, but often say searching.
Yeah, I think I'd probably say the same thing. Now, one thing I didn't know about is that you can add it to your browsers
Mhm.
to use as like a search provider, which
Yep.
is one of the main things I do. Just
It's
typing
my
in the
main
address
thing on
bar.
my phone as well.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm getting to. So I've also got Tailscale set up as part of the
Mhm.
OpenClaw setup. It just I had to put a perimeter around this app.
Yep.
So I've got a couple tailnets, and one of them I could use an exit node. Not my
Mhm.
house, but another place I can exit from an exit node, which is pretty cool. In fact, if I'm on that tailnet, my assumption is I could put searching there and access it. And sure as heck, I can actually. Now all this is being done on the QNAS. I can't say a lot of good things about the QNAS, but it does have a container
QNAS?
management QNAS, QNAP. Sorry,
QNAP.
my
Yeah.
apologies. The QNAP NAS, which I've
Yeah.
affectionately called QNAS.
Okay. Okay.
My apologies. This is my internal name for my NAS. Did
Yeah.
you not know this, Matt?
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. So it's got something called Container Station, and
Okay.
one of the nice things about it is it can do bridge networking mode. So I think they've got like a
Mhm.
networking overlay where they allow you to do nice stuff, but it's got its own IP, and it's got its own IP on the tailnet. And now when I'm
Mm.
on the quote unquote VPN, I can use my own search engine, which is
Right.
like I don't even know why this is a big aha moment for
Yeah.
me. Maybe Google just had to get so bad that I really needed something else, but at this point in time, Google results they're not useless, but they're pretty close to
Well, because
useless.
they got the AI thing at the top, it
And
has become pretty much useless.
ads above the AI
Yeah.
now, so I can't tell
Yeah.
what's real and what's not.
Yeah.
Because they don't say they're ads, but I'm positive that first result's an ad. How to get there? It's not Datadog. Sorry, just one of the things I search for happens to be our documentation.
Yeah.
And if something else is popping up above the AI, like it's got to be an ad, but it doesn't say
Yeah.
ad. So I don't know how it got. Like maybe somebody else has really
Yeah.
good SEO for the thing that my company does. Listen, I don't
Right.
know.
Yeah.
Neither here nor there. But the search results definitely don't give me what I want, which is
Yeah.
the docs. And the AI summary is not good because it's got a cutoff date. So it's summarizing things that don't like I'm looking for new
Yeah.
docs. They're not in
Yeah.
there. I should probably just be on our website, but here we are. This is
Yeah.
an old habit that needs to die. And it just feels like Google's not doing it for me. Now,
Right.
I will say there's another podcast from Century. I've forgotten the name of the podcast, but they
Oh
did
yeah.
actually cover searching
Syntax.
syntax, which is a good podcast. Like
Kevin
don't get me
Delinsky
wrong.
and whatever.
Yeah, no,
Wes
they got a
Boss.
third yeah, they got a third member who
Oh yeah.
sometimes does
Yep.
ones, the one with the
Yeah.
cool mustache, and he talked about searching, and I was like, "This is you've hit, like, just a perfect timing," because I was literally looking at Tavily, which we talked about
Right.
before, and can work with Bolt, my desktop,
Mhm.
assistant, but I think this is where I'm at now, is where I wanna start giving agents the ability to search and get good results as well,
Right.
because they're using Google and their search results from the agents aren't good. Tavily
Mhm.
looks great, don't get me wrong, it's also paid, and I can absolutely run searching locally, and
Yeah.
I've been impressed so far, like, it's a nice stack, it's fast, it gives me good results, it's
Yep.
surprising.
Yeah, I wish it had. It doesn't seem to get much updates. I mean, it
Fair.
works,
Right.
but like it's really hard to change the look and feel of it. You can,
Right.
but you're kind of real unless you really put a lot of effort into it, and no one has. You're stuck with
Right.
one theme, um, and I wish I could tweak it a bit. And the only thing I've seen that will plug into the searching results has been
Mhm.
like uh uh God, what's that thing? A Karakeep. So if you have your
Okay.
Karakeep bookmarks and you do a search and there's a match, it'll show it alongside your searching results, which is pretty cool.
Oh, that is
Um,
pretty cool.
and
I've not used
yeah.
Carrot. There's like I'm gonna age myself a little bit here. Evernote is what this reminds me of.
Mm,
Does that sound about right?
well,
More
uh,
than that?
it, I mean, Evernote was also a note-taking app,
True.
and I
True.
don't think. I mean, yeah, you could take the notes in Karakeep. I wouldn't.
Right.
Yeah, like some people will use Obsidian as their kind of bookmark taking tool. You could. I wouldn't, but some people like that. Like to have one tool.
Right. I just got off a call with somebody who uses Obsidian for everything.
Oh yeah.
And I think again, this is one of those things Matt keeps telling me about that I keep ignoring, but I think I'm about to install it. I've got it installed on my computer. I'm about to
Yeah.
install it and use it for
Yeah.
note taking. What he said he does with it, and you could probably do this with the Markdown file, is at the end of the day, he's got like a summarized task. It's like, what have I done
Mm-hmm.
today? We've been here
Mm-hmm.
all day. Just write it down because I'm gonna forget. I'll forget tomorrow. I'll forget next
Yeah.
week. I'll forget next month. Definitely next quarter. And then he summarizes them, and
Mm-hmm.
he's kind of getting to the point where he can summarize his work on a weekly basis, which is
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that we do at work is let people
Right.
know here's what I've worked on.
Right.
I've watched all of YouTube this week.
Yep. Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is what I've but I do feel like because I generally will forget if it's not my calendar, I've forgotten what I've done, and a lot of my
Yeah.
calendar is just large blocks of me working. No clue what I've done during the
Yeah.
working time, but hopefully I've got something to show for it. It felt like a lot of these models can use Obsidian really well based on what he
Right.
was telling me.
There's a another person that has a bunch of utilities. One of them is, I think one of them big ones is Marked, um, which is kind of a markdown previewer, and another one was there was like a an editor that was kind of all the rage for a while, markdown editor, but
Hmm.
it took a long time for the next version, and so I don't know if anybody really watches it anymore, but uh, Brett TT or God, I can't remember, but he had a utility called Slogger,
Oh,
which was pretty neat. It would log all your activities, like your GitHub commits, your Instagram posts, your videos you watched, all these things, and it would uh, archive them to, at the time, something that was a really popular, Day One. Remember Day
I've
One?
never. I do not. I've never heard of Day One. I'm looking through
Day
the old
One was a
announcements.
journaling app, but
Okay.
I don't know what happened to it. I think it might have gotten acquired, or I don't know
Okay.
what it was. I remember for a while, like in the time when Merlin Man was still posting a lot of content, Day One was like a cool app to use.
I don't know
Anyway, and
Merlin
the
Man either.
Slogger was a really, and I think I wouldn't be surprised if there's an update to Slogger that will push all this stuff to, markdown files, whatever you want.
Day One looks pretty cool. I've never heard of it.
Mm.
Oh, it's automatic bought it of all things.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Matt, what's his name?
Mullenweg.
Other Matt. Yeah,
Yeah.
the other Matt. That's really cool. I've never
Yeah.
seen this. It actually looks
Hmm.
really. And Slogger does feel like. Do you remember scrobbling? I think that's what you did for music, like
Mm.
audio
Oh yeah, yeah,
scrobblers.
yeah.
Yeah. This is really cool. I like this.
I haven't used
Um,
Day One since it's got to be at least 6 years, 7 years.
Now, here's where my brain is. And we've talked about this before, but these dead apps or these abandoned apps are
Mm.
like perfect fodder for me to play around with for a weekend.
Sure.
Have you have you tried to make Google Reader yet? I've definitely tried twice. I haven't tried with Opus 4.6.
Uh, no, just because there's another tool. There's been a series of great tools that I've always used, and I mean they're complicated enough that why would I want to? I mean, I use InnoReader, and that's
Okay.
been great. InnoReader or Fiery Feeds or Net News
Feed
something, or
Feedly, I think is what I was using.
Feedly was another one.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
I have. I still think Google Reader was a great idea.
yeah. I think
And
Yahoo Pipes is
Feedly,
a great thing.
oh, don't get me started on pipes. I feel like I was reaching for something just like pipes just yesterday, for
Yeah,
example. Yet again on the is this N8N or is it like OpenAI's agent
yeah,
builder
yeah,
or is it some UML tool? But like, what do I need? And pipes is exactly what I want. I used
yeah,
pipes as like an if this then that for
yeah.
years. It was
Oh yeah,
fantastic.
it was the precursor to all those things. Yeah,
Yeah, it was fantastic. I can only imagine they didn't make a lot of money, but I think a lot of these times, like when we're thinking about what we're trying to do, and maybe you and I have an advantage because we get at like the benefit of the past. We've seen a lot
right,
of these apps maybe
right.
fail to go to market or get bought and maybe not used so much. But I'm just full of like, hey, have you ever thought about making a calendar app? Or like a
So
I'm joking about this, but Jason Hand did make one. I was like, this is like the hill a lot of us
yeah,
die on is trying to
yeah.
make a working calendar app.
So there is a not a calendar app, but I on Friday or Thursday I procrastinate. I like rather than doing what I need to do, I spent the whole day with an idea and like making it happen, and not the whole day, but and I'd come back to it every now and then. And because in my email, one of the big pain points in my email is that you sign up to a bunch of subscriptions, newsletters or whatever, and the newsletters are useful, and when I actually look at it, I
Mhm.
find it interesting. But sometimes I'll go 2 or 3 days without looking at the daily one, or 2 or 3 weeks without looking at the weekly one. um, and a week later, I don't care about that one from the week ago. I only care about the one that's just come out. I'm never going to open that one from a week ago or 2 weeks ago. And if I do want to, I'll just go to the site and look at it there. Um, so I've got this task basically I do every few months where I like search for all the emails from this address and delete them all, because I don't need that stuff anymore. Um, and it quickly builds up to thousands of emails are just these old
Right.
newsletters or old. I just got a notice
Did you
today
subscribe
from.
to all of TLDR? Is that what happened? Because I've definitely done that.
There's been all sorts of newsletter. There's like I got a notification from Paluva today. The company that makes those
Mhm.
five toe shoes,
Yep.
and they have some new winter hiking boots, which are great. So I just placed the order today. Um, but I get these notices about other shoes or other things from Paluva every now and then. I don't care about it once it's gone past the 1 week ago. Um, and so I just made a simple app in N8N, not app, but really just a service.
A
And
workflow.
so
Yeah.
for any email I get, if it's something that I get often, I can forward it to an email, which is really just my email address plus, you can use the plus sign to add like create
Mhm.
new addresses. So I called it uh, whatever my email address plus prune at my domain. And then every minute, N8N checks my Gmail for anything with that email address plus prune, grabs that
Mm.
email, and in that email, all I do is put in 2D or 10D or 2M for 2 months, and it grabs that, but it's got the email, and so it grabs the original email sender. So it's got the sender and the 2D, adds that to a data table.
Gotcha.
And then it says, okay, now let me find all the emails from this sender that is older than 2 days, 2D. Um, and once you find all those, 150 emails, delete them. Keep the new ones. Keep the ones that are less than 2 days old, or less than 10 days old, or less than 2 months old, but delete all the others. Um, and the first few times I like don't delete it, just move it to this other label so
Right,
I
right.
can
I
verify
mean,
that
that's what
you're.
that's what delete is anyway. It's a label, right? It's this deleted label, and then it
Yeah.
goes away.
So, and then, once I verified that that was actually working, set it to delete. And now every 6 hours, it just goes through my list of, I think there's like 90 emails at this point, which are like either newsletters or notifications, or, I mean, the fact that there's a bank statement, it's never my bank statement. I still have to log into my bank to get it.
Mhm.
So all I care about is the most recent, oh, there's a bank statement. Okay, great. Delete all the others. Um, all the you know all those things, those notifications are, I mean, my what is it, good to go or whatever, the tolls, the thing
Ah,
the fact that there is a bill or a
right.
monthly statement. Great, that's interesting to know for that day, but I don't care about it after that. Um and so it cleans up. I think it in the last like 4 or 5 days, it's cleaned up about 3,000 emails that are just like
Wow.
garbage. I don't want this garbage, and I'm 100% confident it's deleting the right emails, not lots of emails. But it's fantastic, fantastic.
Oh, so you're not using Superhuman anymore?
I did, but it doesn't really offer
What's it
any
what No, no, it
benefits.
doesn't do any of that. What's the other one? Hey was the other one that was
Oh
supposed to
yeah.
offer all this kinda nice stuff? Okay, this is where I admit this
I mean, the
again,
benefit
could
of
have been a nitpicker.
Superhuman is keyboard shortcuts, but you can just use the keyboard shortcuts in Gmail in the browser, or the keyboard shortcuts. I use Spark as my email client,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I mean, it's got plenty of shortcuts, and I don't. I mean, I can go through really quickly if I actually sit down and go through it. But often, I mean, I don't work. Why am I going to spend all my time in email?
Working. I actually don't even action the emails, is one of the things you're saying. I just,
Hmm.
like, leave them in
Yeah.
the inbox, and I've done that for years. I've been using Philo, have you heard of this? It's
Hmm.
another
No.
email client like Spark, but it's got AI tools built in.
Hmm. Yep.
It does a pretty good job of figuring out what I should be working on, but it's
Yeah.
convinced that I'm a Gastown maintainer, and I'm definitely not.
uh,
Do not need to action. I'm not sure if you've looked at the pull requests that come into Gastown, but they're some are cool,
yep.
some are security related, some of them are just complete
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
hallucinations, just like way out of left field.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see the commentary because some of the maintainers, let's call them maintainers, are more skilled than others. So
Uh-huh.
sometimes it's all jovial, amicable, like, everyone's happy, but it's definitely like a skill level
Yeah.
mismatch in a lot of these conversations, which is kind of fun to watch. But it will percolate up the things that I need to do, which I think is really what I want. It's like I don't want to
Right.
look at this mail.
Right.
Just tell me what I want to know.
Yeah.
And for a little bit, it was like, hey, you got a new bill. I was like, I mean,
Yep.
they're paid for automatically, so I had to train it just a little bit to tell it what's important and what's not. But it's done a good job of just showing me what I need to do for the day. And one of them I had been
Yeah.
ignoring. I ran out of space on Gmail or something like that, and it
Uh-huh.
kept annoying me about it. And I
Uh-huh.
was like, it's been a couple weeks. Maybe I will actually fix it.
Yeah.
And I did because we had a family plan. I had to move some things around and stuff like that. But it's it's
So
been good. I've been using it for about 3 months.
yeah, I had another service like that called Quora.
Okay.
And Quora is made by the people that do the Every subscription.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but I found after I felt like I was missing some things, and then I finally like stopped it, and stopped it probably like 5 months ago, and and I was going through the folders that it creates of like stuff you don't really need to worry about, and I was going through it. It's like, what? That's where that? Well,
I
what?
missed all this. Yeah.
There were all sorts of things I missed,
Ouch.
and I was glad I turned it off because I mean, there's probably a training I can, but uh,
Right.
so
Yeah, don't have time for it.
yeah,
I thought it was pretty cool. I do get a lot of email. A lot of the email, similar to you, is just marketing or
yeah,
newsletters, what have you. So
and
I thought about
and I
what I could build.
unsubscribe from some things, but some things
Mhm.
are actually useful to see for a day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like it's Half-Life. It
yeah.
ages out pretty quick. I thought you were going to tell me about a labeling workflow, like like an aging out labeling workflow,
Oh yeah,
which is similar but not the same to what you're talking
yeah.
about. So like I said, it's 1 day, and then instead of every minute, it'll come back
Mm.
tomorrow, and then it increments it to 2, and then
Hmm.
once it gets to
Mm-hmm.
3, it deletes them all or what have you,
Right,
or it just keeps adding labels to them or something like that. Like
right,
it's hit the
right.
30, so it's out.
Hmm.
A naive approach that I've used before for queues, in terms
Yeah,
of like aging out PDF docs or what have you. I'm sure you've worked with SOP PDFs before. It just
right, right.
yeah.
So another one of these workflows. So Jay Topham, would you share that workflow? Totally, I will. In fact, yes. Another thing that uh, I started looking into.
Mhm.
Let's see. Let me stop. Okay. So often, I'll be watching a video. So I've got a
Mhm.
video on my phone, and you can't really see that, but I've got something on
Not
my
showing us
phone.
the halftime show from the Super Bowl.
This is what is it?
I'm teasing
Local
you.
Project. So it's
Okay. Great.
a series about people with really cool houses. Um,
Oh.
and sometimes I'll watch this while walking. doing a
Right.
dog walk or whatever,
You're
and
more listening. Yeah.
I'm mostly listening, but occasionally there's like an interesting point that I want to capture, and I've got a couple of videos that I've released, and another one coming out probably, I don't know, today or tomorrow, on like how do I actually do the workflow, and including triple tap the back of my phone to talk to it, and then it
Mhm.
automatically gets processed and moved to the right place. But one of the pieces that I wish I could have was uh, the ability to if I was on a video, watching a video, having it recognize, oh, you're watching this video right now, and you're about 5 minutes in, and in that section of the video they're talking about this thing, and having that automatically added to, let's say, Obsidian or somewhere else, and being able to say, oh, this is an interesting point, I should remember that, rather than getting back at the end of the walk and forgetting everything I thought, which is what usually happens.
Right.
And but the iPhone, I don't know if it's the case on other platforms, but on the iPhone, there is there is no, if I'm triggering something with shortcuts, there's no way to see what is the current video playing. Um,
Ah,
and you can go to the YouTube API, but there's no, here's the video that you started 3 minutes ago, and therefore you're probably still playing. But then even then it would have been a guess, but apparently that API got mostly turned off a couple years ago. So there's no way to get this, and there is a what's currently playing page, or like a little widget on the phone, but there's no API to get access to what's in there, so that's not
interesting.
useful. Um, but um, what I have now is, as I'm watching it, I can trigger that shortcut. Um, and right now I'm doing it with the accessibility menu thing,
Mhm.
which has a
That's what
little
the
dot.
3 tap is. Yep.
Well, there's a little dot that shows up on the screen that you can tap it,
Oh,
and
the
it shows a
yeah, yeah,
whole
yeah.
menu of things, or you can have
Right,
it set to a double tap or a long press
right.
to do something, to a workflow automatically. And so that's what I have it set up for now, right now, but I'll probably change that. But so as I'm watching the video, and I do that, it will um, pop up a little dialogue saying, "Okay, touch the screen," because in order to, okay, I'll explain that for a second in a second. So touch the screen,
Sounds like an
and then
accessibility thing, but yeah, I got you.
when it shows that, it also pauses the video. I can get it to pause the video, which is great.
Okay.
So it pauses the video, pops up that dialogue saying touch the screen, and then when I touch it and then click OK, it will then take a screenshot of whatever's on the phone, which happens to be a video,
Mhm.
and then sends that screenshot to N8N. Now N8N
Oh.
is going to say, okay, grab the top left quadrant, because that's where the name of the video and the name of the creator is. Grab the lower, third, and that's where the progress bar is, including the time you're currently on.
Mhm.
Um, I think that's it. Oh, and then also just grab the overall screen to see what's on the screen, and then send those three things to an image model that will figure out, here's what the text is on that part of the screen. And now I know, where I was in the video, which video it is, and then it can go ahead and grab the transcript of that video. This takes a little bit longer, but it can grab the transcript and it says, oh, well, at 3 minutes 30 seconds they were talking about this thing, and summarize that bit, and all that could go into Obsidian with, here's what I thought was really cool about this video, um, while I was on my walk, which was pretty fantastic. So that
Sorry,
was
I'm silent because the gears are turning. That's
so
really
the
cool.
reason why I tap on the screen is
Yeah.
because that's when all those things show up. If it just pauses, it's just the video paused without
Right,
anything
because there's an
there.
overlay.
There's
Yeah,
an
and then you have
overlay
to
when you
tap again
tap
to
the screen,
remove it.
and there's no way to programmatically get access to that. But
Right.
by tapping it, it shows up, and then I have the dialogue go away. I wait for 1 second so all that stuff is clear. I take the screenshot, and then I press play. I have it automatically play again, and so it just continues. And the screenshot's been, at that point, the screenshot's been taken away and is
Right.
being processed. I really need to, at that point, to say, okay, now collect my voice description of what did I think was cool.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Um,
That's really
so,
neat. Yeah, the APIs are weird. I think the resume from different locations was paywalled, I think, as part of YouTube
mm,
One or whatever. You know how you can like watch on your phone and
right.
then pause it and then go to your TV and it's the first
Yes.
video.
Yeah.
I think that's a paid feature, which is maybe why the
Mm,
API was removed because I can assume that some other apps tried to game this or
right.
whatever. Because there are pirate YouTube apps out there. But I thought,
Yeah.
do you
So
not have access to your
maybe
history?
when I did a search for information about that API, maybe it
Hmm.
just assumed, well, you're probably not paying, but I am paying.
Yeah,
So I wonder
well, I
if,
don't know if yeah,
because I
that's
mean,
exactly what I was thinking,
the
like
API is authenticated, so it probably
right,
knows, well, I'm paying for the
right.
feature, so maybe I can get access to the feature.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but
Hmm.
that's exactly what I was thinking, like, as a paid user,
Yeah.
can you use that API?
I
But
don't
the other
understand
part of
why
me is like,
anyone would not pay for YouTube. I mean, if they watch
uh,
YouTube videos, I can't. The idea of having to watch ads. I haven't watched an ad on YouTube. I did. I mean, I kind of forget that there are ads on YouTube because I
yeah,
never see them.
I used to have an ad blocker that worked really well, and some company that runs some browser decided that I couldn't use that ad block anymore, so I think I was using, Adblock Plus or something
Hmm.
like that, or some
I mean, it
micro ad
blocks
block,
all
yeah.
the ads. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
see
it's
ads.
perfect.
It's great.
It's perfect. And even the ones that are in the video, much to the chagrin of creators, if you
Mm,
hit forward, it will jump over
mm,
what users normally skip over, which is
yeah,
phenomenal.
yeah,
And I get that as a creator, that's not that great, but
right.
it's super handy as a user.
Do we have to
Yeah,
use
and
NAN
yeah,
Cloud or is the local? So I self-host NAN, and you can do. I mean, the only things that you lose out by not having a either hosted or paying for an enterprise license that you self-host. The things that you don't get are more than one folder. More than one, sorry, not folder, more than one like base folder. You have the personal in
collection, right?
self self-hosted, but you have all the other like collections in the paid version. Um, and you'd have access to global secrets. You can share credentials between other people in your organization, or not. You can choose what gets shared. Um, and there's some other features that you get, which are pretty. I really wish there were a
Like a mid
um,
tier.
like yeah, it's like I don't need.
Hobbyist? Is that the term that a lot of
Yeah,
people
I
use?
mean, some things that just be should be free no matter like single sign on. The fact that somebody's charging for no.
This is the enterprise argument every time, but I think one of those that you mentioned, I thought was a really good enterprise feature. It's being able to have secrets shared across an
Yeah,
org, yes or
yeah,
no. Like that is massive
yeah,
actually for an
yeah.
enterprise. Yeah. Because you want to hide the credentials, but you want
And
them to be able
even
to be productive.
being able to share credentials, being able to, or actually being able to share workflows. Like my
Mm,
wife is also on my N8N instance, and we use it for, um, so she, I guess this might have to change soon, but she runs. She's like the chair for the Bainbridge Island Aquatic
mhm.
Masters, and so when somebody goes to the Aquatic Masters website, they can enter in some information about themselves, and it'll say whether they paid or not. It doesn't give them like confirmation that there's like anything else. It's just, oh, you paid. Don't worry. You don't have to reach us out to us right now. Don't worry about it. And then, well, that's an N8N workflow into a database. Um, but so she didn't set it up. I set it up, but I had to log in as her to set that up. Um, because it's her workflow. But yeah,
Mhm.
and there's no way to share workflows to other people, which would be really nice. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Did I mention that she's going to have a job?
You did, yes, mention that
Okay.
last week, and I assume
Okay.
that's what you meant when things might have to change soon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I
Um,
I think we've yet to get to that point. in this household, but at one point in time we had Home Assistant,
Mm.
and being able to invite my
Hmm.
partner in and decide what workflows are good
Right.
was cool. What we ended up doing is just she's got an app on her phone that she
Yeah.
uses, and I use the Philips Hue one, and
Yeah.
whatever it works out. But it does feel like that collaborative household
Hmm.
software
Yeah.
is kind of where like I love this,
Hmm.
honestly. This is what I thought software should be. Like
Yeah.
everybody should be able to write code, no code, what have you, and get like build their own little things. I guess
Yeah.
this is what my rant's all about. It's like when you've got that little feature that you want to
Hmm.
last mile. I don't know if you need to add MFA to N8N. to N. You're like,
Right.
let's see if I can vibe code this in the weekend. I think that's amazing. And there was like a lot of turmoil in the market, not to talk about my personal stocks or
Hmm.
anything like that, but like things were going all
Yeah.
over the place this week as a result of people assuming that Opus 4.6 could vibe code a lot of software.
Hmm.
And I gotta say, like having tried it out on a few things, it's pretty darn good and will run for not OpenAI length, but it'll run for
Right.
like 3 hours. Pretty good, which
Yeah.
there's a lot of compute, a lot of tokens. It's
Yeah.
pretty costly. But I think things are rebounding now as a result, but it feels like I think I'm trying to think of the app that they vibe coded. It was like oh, it was Monday.com.
Monday.com.
Someone
Yeah.
on TSX went through and
Yeah.
like vibe coded Monday.com, and then of course everyone was like, "Whoa, wait a second, that's a lot of
Right.
market value. That was this apply to?" Blah 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 blah. We've been talking at work about formal validation
Yeah.
or verification, like ensuring that the app is identical. It's not the same as like it looks the same. Like it's
Right.
sort of like Monday.com is not the same as like I'm going to
Yeah.
replace all of your licenses for Monday.com
Yeah.
with this
Yeah.
thing
I mean,
that your CTO vibe coded over the weekend.
right. I think of when I was working at Microsoft. I remember one
Mhm.
of the so I was there from '99 to 2004. So it was Windows XP, Windows 2000, um, and Office XP. Um,
Right.
with Office, I was either Office 2000 or around that time frame. I remember there was they do an enormous number of focus groups, working with, where should we go with the next version?
Of
And one of the
course, yeah.
questions that was asked about Office was, which, you know, are there 10 features that you really love? And
Mm.
everybody had 10 features that they really love. And and it's like you look at all the features rated, and it's an even number
Oh
of
no.
votes for every feature, and so there's nothing that you can remove. And so that was when that ribbon came in to kind of
Right.
help bubble up the most make it easier to get to all the features. Um, and the same with Monday. I mean, um, there's a bazillion features in any SaaS
Task
app.
tracking, right? Is that what
I
Monday
think it's
does? I've
more.
never
It's
used
like
it. Okay.
everything. I think it can do it can do
Board
all sorts
members.
of things. Isn't it like
Okay.
an Airtable slash
I thought it was kind of like a
Coda? And
CRM. I will admit
I
I've
don't
never
know.
used it.
I don't know.
It says it's the best AI work platform, whatever that
Yeah,
means.
whatever. But there's a lot more to. Um, I mean, the same thing with Salesforce. Salesforce.
Right.
I mean,
Holy moly.
there's nothing that is user friendly or enjoyable about using Salesforce, but they're like the king of the king for that kind of
I'll
software.
leave Salesforce just there for a moment because I feel like it's fairly popular and people use it. But like if we were to switch gears just a little bit and talk about Remedy, which I think looks the same. Do you remember Remedy?
No.
Remedy it's from BMC Software. It was a
Okay.
very big ticketing app. It's what everybody used before
Oh yeah, yeah,
Jira.
yeah, yeah,
Does that ring a bell?
yeah.
Yeah. Or even we could just talk about
Right,
Jira because like
right.
Kanban board. I think this is where a lot of people are like, hey, I don't like the
Sure.
Atlassian MCP server, so I'm gonna write my own Jira.
Hmm.
or they're actually, I think our competitors
Yeah.
already Linear, I think, is the one that
Oh yeah.
has sort of sprung
GitHub
up.
issues. Yeah.
I use GitHub issues when I'm
Yeah.
trying to track things personally,
Right.
but I've used Kanban boards before as
The linear
well,
app
which
is really cool. Yeah.
I have yet to try it, and I think I should
Yeah.
because like there are a lot of integrations into
Yeah.
these newfangled tools, and I don't want to
Yeah.
be left behind. I'm the older elder states person
Yeah.
of of
Mm,
DevOps, I guess, but I
mm.
should try the newer tools. Uh, but yeah, it does feel like a lot of the maybe the solidified, stratified companies seem to be it's like other people think they can vibe code that app.
Right.
And
Yeah.
listen, all the
And
power
you
to
can
you.
you can
It's
yeah,
just a
I mean,
lot.
if you've got your 10 features that you
Your
think
two
are the most
features, yeah.
important, and you can get build that app, but you're not doing all the other apps, all the other features,
Right.
and now you've just said that rather than paying some company some pretty minimal amount of money for a business, I want to spend all my time maintaining this piece of
Yes.
code that all my company has to use.
Yes. It's a
Mm,
very different equation, I think, at home when I'm writing software for myself and I can, it's artisanal and I play around with it, that kind of thing. I really can't. Like the Monday.com thing, I think maybe for personal use, but for an entire business, like I think there's a misconception perhaps in what people are seeing happen versus like the actual rigor to make an app. And that's
yeah,
not to say a year from now you can't put that rigor in, but right now, I was
maybe.
just talking about
Yeah.
test driven development earlier. Like you really need to have a bulletproof spec, phenomenal tests. Like
Hmm.
if it's internal to you in your house, like yeah, security is maybe you can do the M&M security model where it's like
Right.
a hard exterior, soft interior for your security, right? But like at work, it's gobstopper. It's like layer after layer of like
Right.
hardened awfulness, and it's hard to land an app like this without OAuth, without
Yeah.
RBAC or
Yeah.
ABAC or all these
Yeah.
other things that people unfortunately really don't understand
Yeah.
when it comes to making apps. Like it's this like a permission model that allows you to share credentials between orgs but doesn't leak credentials is non-trivial. Like I understand why this might be a paid feature.
Yeah.
LDAP capability or logging on with Active Directory, I feel like that thing needs to be a thing of the past. Like you need to be able to add this to your free tools is
Hmm.
my stance.
Yeah.
Just like security shouldn't be like an
Yeah.
additional add-on.
Yeah.
And now we get to perhaps the thing that I sort of hinted at earlier, but that I'll card out now. And this is where we land at things like OpenClaw and its
Hmm.
security model, and
Yeah.
it being really easy to use, but people not understanding that they
Yeah.
have to lock it down. And I'm
Yeah.
frankly disappointed in a lot of my peers that are out there working for hosting companies that are like, this is so easy to set up. It's like, what is so easy to set up?
Yeah.
Have you looked up what this app does? Like, this is,
Yeah.
I'm not saying OpenClaw is nefarious, but if you set it up incorrectly, it is absolutely batteries included.
Yeah.
It's gonna wreck your day. Like you're not
Yeah.
gonna have a good time.
Yeah.
And I love it. I know
Matt
you put a lot of energy into it, but holy moly.
Matt Berman, I think, put out a video pretty recently about how easy it is to set it up on. I think he was using Hostinger, but he like skipped over all the security
All the
stuff. I
security.
mean, like locking it down. And it's like, no, don't. I want to put a comment. It's like, don't follow this advice. This is terrible. Um,
Do you know Kai? Kai does a lot of like
Kai's Power Tools.
uh yeah, no, Kai Lented is his
No,
name.
no.
Kai will do like average Arch user or average DevOps
Okay.
engineer. He'll do a lot of these
Right.
parodies. So the one he released recently, it's an interview with a Just Use VPS Bro, OpenClaw version, and it's not
Hmm.
sponsored by
Hmm.
anybody, but he's basically saying like, let's talk about the security, and it ends
Yeah.
up being this like I think it's an upside down pentagon or something.
Yeah.
Like a pentagram. It like looks satanic, but it's like this is all the security you need to think of
Yeah.
before you
Yeah.
install OpenClaw. And
Yeah.
if any of this is alien to you, you're gonna get popped
Don't
so
install it.
quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just stay away. And like
Yeah, I mean,
maybe don't unmac me
there's
at home or whatever, but literally.
so many OpenClaw instances that are accessible publicly. I mean, just like
Right.
there are so many Olama instances that are accessible
Or
publicly
N8N.
because people
Yeah.
don't put it behind some security.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
if you don't understand the security, when I one of the first hosting air videos I put out was I spent a bit of time. Okay, let's lock down the machine so that you can't
Sorry,
do.
I didn't know you were sponsored. This is amazing. You haven't made an OpenClaw video for hosting your yet?
I've been asked
I'm so
to
sorry.
do that. So,
You could
and
do
I
the
probably will.
responsible one.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
and I put in all this stuff about here's locking down the system, and I got a few
Right.
comments saying, "Why'd you bother with this? Well, I don't care about. I just want to get my app up." No, you don't.
No.
You
Yeah, no,
you
you
want to
don't.
focus on the
Within
security
seconds,
stuff
you'll be popped and you
unless you
won't
want
even know.
to go
Yeah.
down or lose all. I mean, and one of the OpenClaw issues that came out this, I guess, over the weekend or late last week was two of the most popular skills that you can download off of Moltbook, um,
Yep.
were tools that would harvest all your APIs and offload
Right.
them to a other service. And yet hundreds of thousands or millions of people, or how many people are using this thing, are actually using these skills that are, just offloading stuff off to, it's like,
Okay, so two things there. I know of one of them that was, I think it was called Elon Mode or
yep,
something like
there was
that.
that one. And
Okay,
then
so
there was a second one that's more popular.
Elon Mode was just like a thing that would pop up. It was a skill, but it would pop up like other skills at MD and be like,
Mm,
"Hey, you've been popped. This is so easy. It could happen to
right,
anybody." So he was being responsible.
right.
But apparently, how he got to the top of the leaderboard is that they were tracking IPs to be
Hmm.
unique. That was all they were doing. So all he was doing was sending off headers with fake IPs, just
Yeah,
pretending to download it
yeah.
over and over and over again until he got to the top of the list, and
Hmm.
then made a point. But it looks
But
like
there was
some of
another
that
one that was
that
actually
was
actually
actually
doing something
malicious.
really,
That
yeah.
Yeah, that got ahead of it. The other is we've talked a little bit about Vercel Skill Set
Hmm.
SH is another one where it feels like listen, I'm in the midst of trying to make a Datadog skill. There
Yep.
are others out there, but I like the horror to me is if I typed in Datadog and I found something from like a cloud, it looks like a Cloudflare, but it's not actually Cloudflare. So I download
Yeah.
it, so I think it's okay, but it's actually not.
Yep.
That's horrendous to me. So I started making something that required an API key and an app key, and I was like, oh wait, this
Yeah.
could be dangerous. Someone internally did OAuth, which is like the responsible way to do things. Like we have real
Yeah.
engineers. I'm okay, but I'm more hacky, and it just like to me the skills marketplace or network is an easy way for you to add things to the sort of typo squat is another because a
Hmm.
lot of these models will like hallucinate skills or
Right.
hallucinate npm packages and then you can just make one. But I feel like we're in this supply chain attack. We're in it now
Oh
where
yeah.
it's difficult to trust things upstream without
And
really
people will
looking at your
trust
software composition
without, and it's
blindly.
the people
Yeah.
who are the least able to understand are the people who are trusting the most.
Yeah, is this so I learned something about Dunning-Kruger recently that I thought I knew and apparently I don't. So, you're describing one half of Dunning-Kruger, right? That the people who are less uh experienced in this
Right.
platform will assume that everything's okay. Like, no, they wouldn't set irrational
Right.
defaults that are
Right.
insecure. Whereas the more mature of us know that if we can't see the code, we don't know anything. And that was the part of Dunning Kruger that I'd
Right.
forgotten. It's like, yeah, there's this as well as the experienced people will probably not be deploying this publicly,
Right.
which means that what you're getting, and I'm stealing this from one of Prime stream, it means that what you're getting is like the what you're getting out of these computers that have been popped with OpenClaw is probably low value because the
Yeah.
people that you want aren't deploying it publicly, if that makes any sense.
Hmm.
So they're just it's you're probably gonna pop a whole bunch of AI slop and then harvest
Right.
that and like maybe your API keys are there, but what have you. The content, the payload that you're getting
Right.
is not what you expect it to be. Although GeoHot, did you hear about him doing a
Geohot.
stream about OpenClaw?
No.
GeoHot used to be one of the bigger Android hackers, I believe.
Hmm.
Um, what is his George Hotz? Does that ring a bell? No, not
No.
so much. It reverse engineers a whole bunch of things.
Hmm.
At any rate, he was doing a stream on OpenClaw and lost. I want to say $70,000 in Bitcoin because he mistakenly shared his keys, and I think he gained some of it back during the stream because
Yeah.
people were helping him out. But like, yeah, this kind of thing is not great. Yeah, he's got a
Yeah.
welcome to Gastown from a week ago as well that you could look
Yeah.
at. This is a really good programmer, like somebody who can do disassembly, all that stuff. And if he's getting popped on stream showing off these tools, I feel like a lot of us would have similar. This is somebody who knows,
Right.
open source intelligence is probably smart about what they share, but still had an issue.
Yeah.
There's a lot of comments here. I'm not sure if you want to catch up on them. Sorry, I've been
Um.
ignoring them.
Yeah. I've been. It's one person. Roboglog 6909. Just getting into those. We have. Yeah. Okay. He's not multiple. Yeah, you could have multiple NAN containers, but you would really just have one, and with different users on that one.
Because they have a
Um,
shared database, right? If you had
yeah,
multiple, you'd
yeah.
have a database inside. Yeah.
So I just have one instance on Hostinger, and that's what I log into, and my wife logs into. well, actually, I guess I have two instances. One that I show other people on videos, and
And the one that
another
really runs,
instance that
yeah.
I actually use.
That's all right. The truth has come out, y'all, on stream.
Um, and then giving the I don't understand who's he? He's someone
Yeah, so
someone
he's
giving a
saying
talk on.
if you're trying to make something run, having verifiable goals helps, like a concrete goal. I think that applies to any contractor as well if you'd hired them. Like, this is your job, this is what good looks like. Once you hand me something good shaped, then we'll say job done. The
Right.
next one though about network value is interesting to me.
I don't know. I mean, are we talking about the Molt book?
That no. Social network,
No.
I mean, I
I mean,
think we've
where
proven
we
that that
know
was
that
fake.
most of it is fake. Yeah, most of it is
Yeah,
not
I
actually
think we thought it
agent.
was all. Yeah, it's just you're
Yeah,
prompting your agent to
yeah,
participate I mean, of
yeah.
course, this is gonna be, yeah,
And the idea that
sorry.
it created a religion or a language, come on.
I mean, yeah, I can prompt my models to do all
Yeah.
types of stuff. It's pretty cool. I do feel like the Gastown contributors and OpenClaw contributors, that network, and maybe this is not the network you're talking about, RG, but that network of users is interesting to me because there are a lot of committers in there.
Mhm.
At the same time, on the other hand, Mitchell Hashimoto released like a GitHub action. Not sure if you saw that,
Hmm.
like a slop protection action.
Okay.
It'll allow you to, I think it's
Hmm.
called Hone, but it'll allow you to say like, here's the allow list, here's the deny list, essentially for this repo. You have to be human to contribute, or you have to be a robot to contribute, what have
Hmm.
you. Because it seems like there's a bit of a bifurcation right now in the projects. I think the Debian project was the most recent to complain about a lot of slop
Yeah.
commits, et cetera,
Yeah.
et cetera. Specifically, there was a lot of traffic to their releases. And I'm
Mm.
like, oh, shoot, I might have actually been part of this because I was trying to grab pre releases from Debian to steal their init ramfs. I'm so sorry, Debian project. I was part of this. But I was like, you're making these amazing, like up to
Yeah.
date kernel init ramfs that I can use. So I definitely grabbed a couple at some point in time when I was
Right.
trying to figure out like how to load stuff in memory. But it makes sense. They're getting more traffic on things that would generally be allowed to be open to the world, but we're
Yeah.
kind of coming to like the agent versus not agent internet, and also like the human tailor versus not, and then maybe the free versus the paid internet.
Right.
And that stratification is happening as we speak, and it feels like we're getting into a different internet. We're
Yeah.
in like a post AI internet now, and I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I do think those human networks or web rings or what have you are going to make a resurgence.
Yeah.
I don't think it's Moltbook though.
It's
I think it's
interesting how big OpenClaw or whatever it was called at the time got within a week or two.
because
Um,
everybody's
but
hungry for an easy. There's NanoClaw
but
now,
it
like
seems
smaller
to have
ones.
mostly as a lot of it has died off now.
I mean,
Um,
it's at 183,000 stars, so
yeah,
I don't think it's
which
really dying down. I think it's hitting mainstream.
that's kind of where it's been for like a that hasn't is that
Oh, has it?
chart going up still or is it's kind of
Still going
leveling
up.
off?
Yeah, still going up.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if nobody's talking about it in 6 weeks.
Let's see
There'll
how
be
many
something
people.
else.
500 authors have pushed 4,200 commits in the
Mm,
past week. So that's almost a million editions and
yeah,
200,000 deletions. Most of the commits are by one user who is the creator of the project.
yeah,
And then it's like a long line of committers. 500's not as many as Gastown, I think. Gastown also
hmm,
had kind of ridiculous stats, unfortunately. Let's see
yeah.
here.
Which sounds
Uh,
like they're just accepting all commits,
I think Gastown might be accepting a
which
lot of
sounds
commits.
like that's a huge problem.
No, it's only got 9,000 stars, and its activity. How many people here? Let's have a look. 24 authors. That's not too bad.
Hmm.
And I think Steve is generally accepting commits. And
Yeah.
you'd be surprised, but the number one committer on this repo is somebody named Claude. Have you have you heard of Claude? First name only. So they're like, in terms of utility, love Steve's rant and all that stuff. In terms of utility, I feel like Gastown is more like a workflow OpenClaw is a good description of what people want in an assistant, but
Hmm.
it's not. I'm so sorry, people. It's not that. It could be that. It's that shaped, but like this is not what you want. It's too powerful.
Yeah.
But with plugins that you maybe vet on your own, I feel like
Hmm.
OpenClaw is what people want. So NanoClaw came out, I think, 2 or 3 days ago
Hmm.
as like a small subset of
Okay.
OpenClaw's feature with the goal to be secure. I haven't tried it yet, but I
Yeah.
think that idea is where we need to get to. Like, what's the
Yeah.
next gas down? What's the next OpenClaw?
Yeah.
That's where we need, like, fork it, do what have
Interesting
you.
idea. Interesting first version. Cool
Right,
and all, but it is definitely. I mean, that's what a problem with so many of these vibe coded apps. They are great first versions,
right.
but then maintaining and improving upon is a challenge. Um, and there'll be another app that comes along that makes all the improvements and goes a little bit better. And um, it'll be interesting if it's a another individual that makes those changes, or is it a company?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's
I
a lot
think a
of
lot of
companies that are trying to get
Abs
created.
abs
Yeah,
and a lot of, like, listen, I gotta say it because I've been in finance a little bit in my life, and maybe this is why I kinda steer away from these projects that have, like, pump and dump
yeah.
scams associated with them, and this is one of those, and I realize the author wasn't involved at all, but in
Oh yeah.
Gastown, I think maybe participated a little bit. I think a lot about QBasic. Do you remember QBasic?
Oh yeah.
Like, the editor for basic apps in DOS. I used QBasic a lot as kind of my first IDE a
Hmm.
long time ago, and it had, like, mouse support, which was unheard of in
Hmm.
DOS. It was fantastic. It feels like it's 2026, and a lot of the new editors that are coming out look worse than QBasic.
Right.
Get like, yeah, there's definitely a lot of things we could be doing that aren't, I don't know, agents that have way too many permissions that are open to the internet, which is fun as an experiment, but I think we need to be a
Yeah. Yeah.
little bit more careful. Some person in the comment, I think, is saying that they need to see your pretty face a little bit more. I don't think they said pretty face, but I said, we miss your
We missed your
videos.
videos. Yes.
I put face
I
in there instead of videos. Yes.
I have no excuse. That there's everything is all right. Yep, totally.
W- Did
I
you
think
not have Christmas holidays? I think having a Christmas holiday hangover is fine. That happens to a lot of us.
yeah. Except it started. I mean, there was a period for a while. I was posting. I mean, for a while I was posting 3 times a week.
Yeah.
But in the last probably 4 months, I've maybe posted 4 videos, 5 videos. I mean, it hasn't been much, but there's no good reason. There's just I spend more time with my daughter and with my wife, and that's been my and I'm watching more YouTube videos. I don't know. It's a lot of it is not. I mean, the first two things I said were definitely important. Watching a lot more YouTube. I don't think I got much out of watching.
There's a lot going on though, like,
Yeah,
ignoring politics and,
a lot
ge
going on there too.
geographic
Yeah,
stuff, like, all ignoring all that stuff. Our
yeah,
industry feels like it's being
yeah,
upended,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I guess the one thing that I've got, like, for those on the call, like, we're all going through this together. Matt and I have been around for a while. We've seen boom, bust, and echo
Oh yeah,
fads come and go. It feels like this is here to stay, and
yeah,
it might feel like you can't code anymore, but I think what we're trying to tell you is that, like, the personal projects, being able to try a lot of simulations,
yeah.
that kind of thing. So I'm keeping Matt alive by streaming with him every week here. You find a friend, reach out to them, make sure your programmer friends
Yep,
are
yep.
okay. But like literally, I think spirits are down a lot in our industry because of
Yeah,
layoffs, et cetera, et cetera. But it does feel fun at the same time,
yeah,
which is kind of, I feel a bit conflicted, but honestly, I've not had this much fun coding
yeah,
ever in my life,
yeah.
and I loved to code when I started out.
So I got if you're still using like OpenCode or any of those
Yep.
types of apps, have you heard of Sidecar?
No, I mean, I've heard of the
S-
sidecar
Side,
pattern.
sure. So there's a new an app. I don't know how old it is. I mean, it's a terminal app. It's called Sidecar. So I mean, Sidecar is also used for all sorts of other things. But
Mhm.
this is a do a search for Sidecar terminal agent, and you'll come up with this project by Marcus something. And it's basically a you would have uh,
It's Just Marcus. How does what
Okay.
are we on first names here? But he's got a gray beard, so I think we're in good. Like the name matches the age is
So
what I'm trying to say.
the
Because he's been
you would
around
have
enough that he could get the first name.
yeah. So you'd have, your agent, whether it's open code or whatever, in one pane, and the other pane have sidecar. And in sidecar, you'd see, all the GitHub commits, or you can tab over
Yeah,
to all the conversations that you've had with
yeah,
your agent, or all the files. And it kind of replaces the need to have, having open code open up in Cursor or Windsurf or anything like that.
yeah. A lot of people do that.
It's
Yeah,
it's really pretty cool. I wish the keyboard shortcuts were a little bit more consistent across all the different plugins, but it's
right.
really pretty cool. I'm just starting to play with it. It's really neat.
Oh no. Oh.
It's got its own like to do. What?
Yeah. I was scrolling down and I'm like, I made something called TD, and he's got a TD monitor,
Uh,
and I'm like, oh shoot, they do the same thing.
yeah, the to
But
do is
I
pretty
didn't
cool.
like beads. Yeah, I didn't like
Yeah,
beads, so I made my replacement for beads. A lot of people are making their own beads replacement, like a task
yeah,
tracking. And TD is literally what I
yeah,
made mine.
yeah,
This is cool. I think I might. So that looks awesome. I might stay for TD because TD is one of those problems. It's very difficult. If you've got many agents,
yeah,
having them
yeah,
share tasks or check the
yeah.
process of tasks is like it's
Yeah.
a nightmare. It's just like having too many consultants who are like
Right.
sort of skilled but not skilled enough,
Yeah.
and it's just like it's a huge mess. It becomes a management nightmare.
Yeah.
Again, not that I was ever a great manager, but
Yeah.
this looks fantastic.
It looks really cool. So
Wow. Okay. Well, that's a good checkout. I unfortunately have to leave. I've got a meeting right
what?
after this. But I think my
Who
checkout was
with who?
Philo or Philo,
Anybody
the
important?
email client.
Blow them
Well,
off.
I mean, I'm meeting a one-on-one with my grand boss. That my boss's boss. That's somewhat important?
Okay. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, you're
Okay.
listen. You're important to me too, Matt. But since we confirmed that you're alive, we'll let you go on your own for 1 week here. We'll come back.
Yes. Yes.
Uh, but yes, I have to run. Thank you so much for all the comments. That was fantastic.
Well,
I
say hi
think
to Jeremy for me.
no, Jeremy has someone who's
Oh.
taken his
Oh,
place.
okay.
Yes, Jeremy's he's
Oh, he's
higher
too
up,
high for that. Too high for you now.
to higher level. Yes. Office hours, or how I get to talk to Jeremy now. I kind of miss the downtime I used to have when AI coding were slower. Yes, it feels like that XKCD comic from back in the day, where it's like you've got fake wooden swords and you're playing on swivel chairs, and the manager comes in and like, "What are you doing?" "Oh, we're compiling." He's like, "Okay, back to it." Flip the sword. All right. With that, I
Okay.
really gotta go. All right,
Okay.
bye, folks.
Bye. Oh, well, he really did sign off. No finish, and then us chit chatting for after we're done. He left. He just left. Slacker. Okay. Bye. Thanks everyone for your comments.